Hey, lovelies! Welcome to Love, Learn, and Share with your girl, Ivan Shiko. Now, guys, please don't ask me questions about what I am wearing today. It's because of where the story is coming from. Well, today's story is a high school story. Now, definitely, in our high school, we never used to wear uniforms of this color. Oh, our uniforms were hideous. They were green skater skirts, very long ones. Tukaanza tukiingia form 1, I bet everybody can relate to that. Now, let me not digress. Now, guys, today's story is going to come from way back in my years. Don't ask me my age. I hope it does not reveal to you. Now, back in my days, I used to study in a certain school at Machakos, guys. Machakos, Kangundo, that area. So I used to study there, and today's story is coming from my experience in Form 4 with the KCSE. So let me give you the background. So when I got into Form 1, I was quite a meek person, not talkative and always too shy. So when you get into Form 1 and you're still shy, you're in your cocoon, and then I met this girl. She was so wild and she was carefree and she was so extroverted, and I won't say her name, but she told me that she came from Kayole, and literally that was the best thing because we just became best friends. From that moment on, we moved our desks together. We were together like all the time. She was the kind of person when anakwambia hey, twende church tunaenda, twende wapi tunaenda. It became so, it was like the tightest bond, you see. So we continued like that from Form 1, Form 2. And mind you, I wanted to become a doctor. I always said a doctor or a surgeon. Too bad I did not become that, but at least I'm not far away from that. Anyway, so we became friends. Form 3, we did our mocks and we got quite good grades. I personally got, I think, a B or a B minor, and she got around the same grade. We were, in short, we were like, leveling. Now, this friend of mine had introduced me to a lot of stuff in school. She was very extroverted, such that she was in every club. Immediately she got into Form 1, she was like just noticeable. You know that person who usually see everything? Like she's in the St. John's Club, Rangers Club, Journalism Club, every club she's inside. Me, I was quite timid, like I told you. When you were with her, I was the most talkative, but around other people, I was quite quiet. So she got me into several clubs, and we were also together in hockey, guys. I used to play hockey in high school. My legs have lived quite the time. So as you can see, this relationship was very tight. Even in their home, sometimes she used to come to my home, I used to go to her home. Excuse me. Yeah, I used to go to her home, and it was just amazing. So we came to Form 4. Now, around this time, we were still in music club together. Like I said, she got me into a lot of clubs. So we ended up doing hockey together. We ended up doing music. We ended up doing some other games here and there, and some clubs here and there. She got me into the journalism club. And trust me, there was no bigger privilege than standing in front of the parade and reading the news. Oh, God, it was amazing. The first time I did it, it was thrilling. You guys on your journalism club, you can attest. This was the best. So, guys, now around Form 4, so we are busy. The exams are coming. I am trying to get my headspace. I'm like, you guys, I really need to study and all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, I can help you. But the problem with my friend here is every time I set my brain to do something, I would be like, hey, acha niende kwa physics lab. There's a certain point I used to like reading from, my physics lab position. And I used to go back there and I sit on my own and I try to read. And she would always find me. And then she would be like, hey, sijakuambia, I should give me stories. And then she was always the best storyteller. She was the only person up to date mwenye angekuambia story mara tatu na kila soko. As in, God, she got me. So we come around to Form 4. And the mocks have come, we have already done them, and now it's time to do the KCSE. As you know, during the last months, people don't usually study that much, especially with the teachers. The teachers come around just 1 or 2 times to like guide you on your revision materials, but the rest of the time you're like doing your own revision, you're into study groups, you're into all that. So right now ndio unajaribu kukumbuka, hey, nini ya mao sijuangi, unaenda kwa chopi wa mao, hii nini ya bio sishikanishangi, unaenda kwa mwenye anaijua. So tuka prepare, and the KCSE came. Man, we were freaked out. And then I remember there was this pink examinations that were brought in a school. I bet they were, because they were written Kangundo something. So I bet they were like distributed to all the schools. We thought it was leakage, but definitely it was not. They were just revision papers given by the government to help the candidates of that area to revise. Now, they came like 2 weeks to examination, and then after that, the examination started. So we are doing our examination. The first day, obviously, all of us are having exam jitters, but after some time, everything is good, and we continue. The first day goes on, the second day goes on. Now, the first week passes by, and then we get into the second week. My best friend is behaving weird. She was my best friend to an extent that we were sleeping in the same place in the dorm. Like I was in the top bunk and she was in the lower bunk. Her box was here, mine was here. If she lacked anything, she had the keys to my box. If she doesn't feel like washing, she literally went to my box and took my clothes and wore them. And I had no question to ask. Why? Because she was my best friend. She told me everything and I told her everything. So around the second week of the KCSE examination, we are done with our, I don't remember whether it was chemistry or biology paper 2. So after we are done, these invigilators and some police officers come to our class and they tell us we are all required to go to the dining hall. So all the candidates are gathered there. Remember, you're the only ones in school, so you are not that many in the school. So you go and gather in the dining hall, and everybody's like, what's happening? This is awkward. Ama, this is how it happens. Nobody knows anything because it's a first experience. You have never done the KCSE again, So we are all there. The policemen are around with their rungus and their guns. So we're like, what's happening? And then our principal walks in. She was a majestic woman. She comes in and she's like, good morning, students. Good morning, madam. And she's like, so we have an incident. And we're all like, oh my God, what's wrong? And then she's like, it has come to our attention that there is a phone among the candidates. What? A phone? Do you know by the way what a phone could literally mean to the candidates of that school? Manze mngefanya emergency papers, and the worry we had about doing emergency papers. So she's like, it has come to our attention that there is a candidate who has a phone and she used this yesterday at 12. She's using it during examination time. Oh my God. She was using it in the weekend. Do you know what that means? It can only mean that she was receiving leakage. And do you know what that means? It means that the whole school will either be cancelled or we will do emergency papers. Who wants to do emergency papers? Like you guys. It was stressful. So the principal says, if you know you are the one using that phone, stand up. I am saying, if you know you are the person who used that phone at 12 p.m. yesterday, stand up. Nobody's standing up, so the police cock their guns. And suddenly it becomes serious. I am saying, if you are the person who used that phone yesterday in the Kilimanjaro dorm at 12 p.m., stand up. Do you see where this is going? She's having details of the place where the phone is, in which dorm, in the name of the dorm, and trust me, we had a lot of dorms. So next she was definitely going to say cubicle. So we are like, oh my God, everybody is looking at everybody is a suspect, and then the police are cocking their guns and they're walking around looking for people who are looking suspicious. So suddenly the principal says, Edna from 4Y, stand up. You guys, let me give you a little background about Edna. Edna, from the moment I got into Form 1, she was like the most athletic girl I've ever met. She was so outgoing, and she was the captain of the football team, captain of the basketball team, captain of the table tennis team, and of the badminton team. She was the most disciplined student, and she was also among the people who are doing first aid. Definitely a member of the St. John's Club. Like, she was very active and very disciplined. So, and I remember in Form 1, imagine alikataa kutuchukua football, hujai kataliwa kuingia kwa club, and that's how I ended up in hockey team. But away from that, so already you can see that Edna was quite a good girl. So when she saw to stand up, like, come to the front, we're like, is she the one with the phone? So she goes to the front and she's told, kneel down. And she's kneeling down, and then the principal is like, where is the phone? Mwalimu, mi sina your phone. Edna, where is the phone that you used yesterday? Teacher, me, I don't have that phone. One big slap from the soldier. Oh God, I was like, oh, this is getting real. And then she was I don't know, bamboozled. She was taken with her shirt, and she was taken to the dorm. And then they came back like some few minutes later, like around 10 minutes later, with Edna carrying scraps of a phone. Like she had kept the battery differently, the phone scrap differently. It was like that Kabambi phone. You know, that time there were no big smartphones. So it was the Kabambi phone. The SIM card was not there, but it had the battery and the phone kando. So people were like, oh my God. And then the principal goes ahead to say, now, who is keeping the SIM card that belongs to this phone? Nobody is talking. You know the drill. Who is keeping the SIM card to this phone? Then they say, if you don't produce that SIM card, all of you are going to get cancelled. Who wants to be cancelled? So everybody is looking at everybody, and then Edna is pulled up by one police officer and is asked, who did you give the SIM card? She doesn't want to say. Another one, who did you give the SIM card? She stands up, and then she points to a girl at the front row. She's the one keeping it. Hey guys, she was taken to the front of the dining hall, and then she was made to kneel down. Do you know where the SIM card was? Well, under the booby. Under the booby. And then she was like, how dare you even keep a SIM? And then now the principal says, if you know about this phone, if you have ever heard about this phone, if you have a friend who has ever heard about this phone, if you know you are sleeping in the same dorm with the person who has this phone, stand up. Okay, so definitely I'm not in the Kilimanjaro dorm, so I'm good. And besides, I'm surprised they don't know about the phone, so I'm sitting quietly. And then it gets real. People start standing up one by one. They are crying. You know, in the presence of police officers with guns, they are crying. And then my principal says, I won't say her name, but she calls out my best friend's name and tells her to stand up. Hey, God. I think she was part of the cartel that was keeping the phone. She stands up. And I'm looking at her in disbelief. Like, you knew about the phone? You knew about all this going... Are we best friends? Girl, am I your best friend? How come I never knew about this phone? But around this time, you're like thankful. Oh, God, thank you. I did not know about this phone. And then the principal says, if you know your friend is up here, come to the front. God, everybody knows that she's my best friend. Now tell me, I'm not going to finish up how it ended. But tell me, if it were you, would you stand? Would you? Put it down in the comments. Until next time, guys. Bye.